Stock Exchange, CME Group, and the NYMEX. Teddy, we usually say a Santa Claus rally. Now we're saying Christmas correction. What do you think?
Well, I don't know who is saying Christmas correction. I've been doing this for 50 years. I've never heard of a Christmas correction.
We make things up here.
All right. I think anything is possible, Liz. But I would say Christmas correction, probably not in the cards.
Okay, but it sounded good. It had the alliteration, Christmas correction. And you know what? You never know, Trent.
Well,
you never know, right?
You know, Liz, if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, and I was actually on with Teddy, and I'll come clean here. I thought we could see some retracement when I was on a couple weeks ago, and Teddy was right. I was wrong. I'll own it. But, you know, right now, I mean, in addition, we got the seasonal tendency, which Teddy hit on correctly. Christmas corrections typically don't happen. But this price of oil, I know people are probably tired of talking about it, Liz. It's very real. I mean, it's going to boost near-term growth. It's going to boost spending this time of year. And I think it's ultimately going to provide a catalyst that will allow us to see 18,000 in the Dow by the end of the year.
I don't know if you heard, but today you had two major Fed heads. You had William Dudley of the New York Fed, and you had Stanley Fischer, who is right below Janet Yellen. Both of them said precisely that, Trent. In fact, the quote was, lower oil will be a boon to spending and to the U.S. growth when it comes to the economy. And that segues perfectly to Jeff Grossman. Looking at this low oil price, we're loving it, right? And you've said, watch out below. But it's Russia that's getting killed by it. And I was sitting there saying, are the sanctions working? Well, maybe they are, but it's really the low oil price that's killing the ruble and causing the Russians to now say that they'll be in a recession in the first quarter.
Well, there's an old saying that Russia is a gas station disguised as a country, and it's living up to that right now. And granted, these lower prices, I don't know how much lower. I know everybody loves jumping on this bandwagon, and we've really washed out everybody. But again, getting back to your stock market question, it's a fait accompli. We're probably going to trade that 18,000. But I'll tell you, first time up, you have to sell them.
Well, young Trent was trying to take on Teddy a couple of weeks ago, and he had to own up to losing. You know, age before beauty.
Thank you.
That goes right to Teddy. You know, I'm telling you, Teddy. Yeah. But what do you predict here? And as we look, and we want to ask you guys, the best advice that you would give investors who are watching for the rest of the year, and there isn't much left of it, Teddy, but what would that be? Well, you just sit tight or don't try and get cute here?
Oh, well, first of all, Liz, the year is long over for most serious investors and even traders. I mean, if you haven't made your year by now, forget it. You know, you got to start thinking about next year and even 16. But I think I'd like to go back to the oil energy sector because I think the negative side of the energy trade is way overcrowded. And you're seeing real strength across the board, except the drillers, in most of the big energy stocks today. And the crude is still kind of drifting lower. And I think the stocks could be telling us that perhaps the worst is over. Because the stocks usually trade ahead of the commodity.
Well, Chevron's up about, we've got some other names here, but we've got Chevron moving higher by 2 1/3. And let me just quickly check ExxonMobil.
That's across the board. Exxon's
moving higher by more than
most of them are up. Most of them are up pretty good.
All right. Well, Jeff called it. He did. Thank you all. We really appreciate it. Trent, Teddy, and Jeff. Closing bell. We're about 39 minutes away, and it is bonus season.